So people, let me give the introduction of what is going on in this video. So that's me over there in the building. I went to the program. It was so nice how they narrated everything. We had a guest like Manifest. Manifest is a singer and artist in Ghana who was raised on the campus of Legon. So yesterday we invited him to give a speech about how he became a student of Legon, living on campus, how it is before even becoming a student and all of that. You already know Manifest is a son of Chachu Chikata. Yes, that is the lawyer who stood in for NDC when they sent MPP to court about the election, about the election petition. So this Chikata guy is also an artist, a singer. Yesterday they even sang his song over there. I think it's in this video as we are going, you will see. So yesterday I was invited by a friend to join the program so that's like we all watch, we all enjoy since yesterday was holiday, the Independence Day of Ghana, 6th of March. Yes, so at 3:30 bang I was already there. They showed, I couldn't take a vlog of that. They showed like a film, a movie, like it's a drama in animation form, cartoon form, and then like it was all about the 28th February 1957, what happened at the crossroad Christabel Castle. Yes, and then the next month, which was March, Ghana had independence. People lost, people blood was shed, and then like people died and all of that. It was about all of that. The drama was all about all of that. The animation drama was all of that, which I couldn't take a vlog of that because when I got it, they were showing it and almost at the end. So I didn't take a vlog of that. So that was Manifest, and then a lady interviewing him before us, and then we were all there listening. He spoke a lot. Yesterday was my first time seeing this guy because I've heard about his name, I've heard a lot about his name, but I haven't seen him in person, I haven't seen him physical. Until yesterday we met physical, and then he was speaking, he said a lot about his life on campus, even before he became a student of Legon, how his life is, how the parents attended, and all of that. The mom herself attended University Basic School, which is the primary school, and it was just nice. So it's as if all the family attended University Basic School and also attended the University of Ghana. So that was it, and it was so nice. So I will leave you here to enjoy this guy. What he said a lot about the family, like I wish you were there to listen to what he said. I wish you were also there to enjoy this program. It was so nice. After that we had some small chops. As you can see. So it wasn't easy at all. It was just nice. Everything was nice about the program. So my dear subscribers, my dear fans, I will leave you here to continue enjoying the video. Everything was so nice. Like that's me over there. That's me over there in the building. So guys, I'll leave you here so that you continue enjoying the vlogs, what I had from the program, the vlogs I had from the program yesterday, how I spent my 6th of March, which is how I spent my Independence Day as a Ghanaian. It was just so nice. It was just so nice. I really enjoyed this program. The next program will be on the 6th of April 2023. So if you want to join the city conference center at Lagos, you get on the campus, you ask where is the city conference center, and then you join us, and then like we all enjoy. We have not been talking about economy. The first program I attended there was about corruption. I think I have thought about that in some stage. This time around, that's what this is. They will be talking about the economy. You already know how can the economy is. or she go to
Thank you
bed,
very
she
much. Please
thinks a
take
lot
note that the
about how
refreshments
she
at
will
the
eat,
foyer, so
the
as you
kids
walk
will eat.
out through the back,
Sometimes she
please
will
just
even
pass them in
he or
the
she can even
let's do it in an
sacrifice for the
orderly
kids, but
fashion
even
so
not
that the
even
team
getting
then
food
would
for the kids
assist you.
as well.
Thank you very much.
So you
Now
can
to
see
our group
all of
photo
this is so frustrating. So they are gonna talk about it and see how to adjust it. And also for your information, University of Ghana is 75 years this year. So they will celebrate throughout the year. Every month they will have a program. Every month there will be a
Okay.
program.
So,
So
can you
guys, I
just
think
step
I'll leave
down a
you at
bit?
least to
Let's
brief you
be in the
a lot
middle,
on this
the two
YouTube.
middle
So I'll leave you
aisles,
here
or
to enjoy
however
the
you
rest
call
of
it,
the
and
vlog,
then let's
so
take,
that I'll
we'll
continue
have
to
you,
tell you
yeah, coming
subscribe,
in front.
comment, share, so that you'll be bringing you. Don't mind my face in the
Yeah,
video.
and
Like
we'll have
I
a
was in a
photographer up
crowd,
here.
so
So just
smiling
step
is
down.
something for me. So enjoy the
So
vlog.
just stand
I'll be
in
bringing
at
you
the
more,
back.
more,
The
more, more.
photographer will stand up. We'll try and capture as many people as possible.
Where is that one? Where is that one? You don't count. You don't count.
Please let's stand in the middle. The first two rows in the middle. Let's fill in the empty spaces so that we can capture as many people as possible.
So some of you can go to the other guys.
So guys, after that we sang the University of Ghana anthem and it was just nice. The words in it are very, very powerful. Hey, I tell you, the words in the anthem, and they are so, so powerful, and I think the students are really going according to the words of the anthem composed. So we sang the anthem and then it was so, so, so great. You will feel within it your spirit. Yes, so the program was very nice. I can tell the program is just so, so nice. It is not easy at all. It's just great. We really, really enjoy yesterday. Really, really enjoy as the Independence Day. So there are some vlogs showing how I spent my Independence Day. After that, we had some refreshment. You can see people around. We're taking some refreshment. You take your drink, then you go and get some samosa, and then you get your fish, and then this thing, some chicken as well attached. They'll serve you on a plate, and then you go and hide somewhere you eat. After that, if you want to go for more, you go. But for me, after taking the first one, I left. I didn't go in for more. You'll be going in for more, and they'll be studying you, they'll be identifying you. You get there, they'll start looking at you with some faces, be it some eyes, be so. Just when I took the first one, that was the only one that I'm supposed to take. After taking it, I left the hall to wherever I'm coming from. So guys, I'll leave you here to enjoy Manifest sang in this vlog, but I've taken it out because they are giving me copyright. I wanted you to also fall the song, but they've given me copyright, and I've also decided to take it out before YouTube holds me responsible. The program was just nice. I really enjoyed the Independence Day yesterday. That was the first Independence Day I've really enjoyed, but it was all good. So enjoy the rest of the video, dear.
registrar at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, Sudan. But I'm in charge of Center for Student Skills Enhancement. Because of Manifest and because of this program, I came all the way from Sunyani just this morning. Yeah. So in fact, I have not had any sleep in my eyes. I still feel sleepy because it is so important to me. The reason being is that Manifest, if you go through the Ghana Living Standard statistics, it's been for almost 3 years now, and it has repeatedly, becoming as a statistics that the current generation and crop of students and graduates who churn out from the university, about 71% of them find themselves in the informal sector. It means that it's not about the course they came to study, it's about the survival of the fittest. And so because of that, I think from where I'm coming from, we have designed something, a center called Center for Student Skills Enhancement, so that we can now look beyond the theory and also try to nurture the skills and the employability skills of the students. So as it stands now, there are research we've got.
Type of things that coming from the Nketia side didn't raise as many eyebrows. or definitely because of the climate in this country, bearing the name Chikata, obviously, people would preclude who they thought I was or who they think I am. So that is an obvious thing, obviously, because, in a country in which rumor and hearsay has much more value, and I'm being sarcastic, than the fact sometimes I think people tend to enjoy the salacious and the what do you call it, the mythical status and then sometimes the other negative aspects of it, which is this is what I believe about you because you're this. Life is not me complaining. Like I said, the fundamental is me growing up with two different families that have really diligent, smart, hardworking men, women, etc., who have really exposed me to a lot of this life here.
I think we hear it in your music, definitely. We see it in you, we see it in your craft, we see it in everything. I want us to, before we jump into the next, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the time you spent at your grandfather's feet, in quotes, I think I remember when he passed, he tweeted something, and there was something about you spending a lot of time unraveling, discovering. And I want to know what you unraveled about yourself, and what you discovered, and how it transformed and created the identity of man. Because you spent a lot of time with your grandfather, unlike some of us who wait till the last days. You did in spite of, So I want to know how that helped in creating the manifest we see today.
Early in my life, it was obviously not intentional or subconscious. Most people might not actually know, but I literally grew up in the same house as my grandfather. I was the only grandchild that grew up in the same house with him. So at least half of my life, I was within physical proximity of him. So that means I had a proximity to him. I had a proximity to his cassettes. I had a proximity, which I used to sometimes dabble about, by the way, but forgive me. I had a proximity to his books. I had a proximity to the many different visitors from around the world, that interesting people who come. I had a proximity to his vinyl. That's myself and Blitzen and Ambassador that we used to go through my grandfather's vinyl. Yeah, but I had so very early on, I had a proximity to these things that without anybody telling me to explore, I would explore out of either boredom or curiosity. And that has a way of educating you in a sense, because the man was very vast, whether it came to language, whether it came to music, whether it came to him writing poetry in the 40s, whether it came to him doing translation, a lot of things that he had done. So in my later years, there was a process of discovery of really beginning to understand the breadth of what he had done. The music, the choral work. I think I knew a lot of the art music stuff, but I didn't really have a grasp of how much choral work he had done. And it was really good to uncover and discover a lot of these things. Because, I didn't need validation to be a musician, but if anything, people are like, oh, but your people, they're all lawyers. But I'm like, then look at my grandfather.
You knew at that time you wanted to be a musician.
Which time?
So let's say around 8, 7, around the time you were living in your grandfather's house.
Not a chance. I mean, that was a terrifying idea at the time to be a musician. How was anybody going to make money or a living out of being a musician at that age? How was it fathomable? It's impossible. Some of you are sitting here who probably want to do music and it's still unfathomable for you. Don't worry, when I was in college, even the idea was still far-fetched. So, but I'm talking about not becoming a musician as a job. I'm talking about the fact that, yes, I basically got to, remember you would have guests, and one of the things I used to do, one of my favorite jobs, was to take them water, on a trip. But that would be a chance for me to hustle a little bit of what they're talking about. So, yeah.
That must be amazing. Just to say it clearly, but just, Charlie, hey, you're good at what you do. My dad saw me in theater in high school, but when I was coming to Legon, what do you mean applying for theater? So I want to know, who do you want to shout out?
Well, I mean, before I do shout out, the first part of your question is interesting to me, or how you premise it in terms of your personal experience and sort of maybe our societal, what do you call it, outlook on the arts, right? How many of you are in the arts here in school? Can you raise your hand? Wow. Very minimal. 4. How many of you are in the sciences? How many of you are in the business and those other places? Okay, what about the English, psychology? Okay. This is, it's fairly balanced. It's more balanced than I would have thought. How many of you believe that you're going to work in fields of the study that you're in? Was that over half or was that half? Okay. I'm glad that there's this amount of certainty in this room. I'll tell you that there has been a long-standing, at least since I have been born, there's been a long-standing condescension towards the arts, right? Because we like to be entertained, especially by things like music and stuff, things of sort. But in terms of the more intrinsic or bigger value of art is not considered, partly because the commercial viability of it hasn't reached this kind of zenith yet in this country, correct? So for me, I did not go to school in the arts. And part of my education, like you said, was at home. Part of my education in college was around my peers. We used to go record shopping. We used to go through the rigor of learning what we wanted to do by being together and sharing knowledge without having to do whilst I was getting a degree in economics, because you have to be safe. At the time, I didn't make a decision. So I definitely know that we have a challenge here when it comes to arts and education in this country, for instance. Where people face it on an individual level, which is making those choices and maybe facing opposition and no encouragement. But then there's also an institutional level to it, which is probably my bigger concerns these days as I'm growing older, thinking of institutionally how can the arts thrive and how can young people with such big visionary possibilities become the new. I said the noisettes. There's somebody named does not. What else?
Sad songs.
What? Entertainment. Okay, cool. Yeah. There's a more nuanced thread between them. Hmm? Conscious music. I don't know about that, bro. I think Kobe Graham might know what this is. What?
They're fans of Black Art or friends with Stone Tea.
He says they are fans of Black Art or friends with Stone Tea. I think he knows the answer, but he doesn't want to say. They all went to one school called the Brit School. Can you imagine? Oh, you knew it. Yo, you said it. Oh, my bad, I'm tripping. Of course you would know. Yeah, when you look in America, there's other schools like that where Nicki Minaj, Azealia Banks, etc., all went to LaGuardia High School of the Arts. What are examples in Ghana that are anywhere close or familiar or similar?
School of Performing Arts.
Yes, a drop in the pan. But shout out to school. No, I'm happy. Shout out to school of performing arts. But don't you want us to have people from the school of performing arts who've gone to that zenith, that level yet? Isn't it possible? And I don't think it's because the individuals who have gone through there have lacked talent, but because it's when you build strong institutions within and have a vision of what you want to create. And I think when you build some of these schools, they want to make some of the most top-notch, amazing artists ever that comes from their homeland, etc. And they make fertile ground for that. And there's probably scholarships, there's whatever, etc. We can explore these things. So there is, in other parts, there is an intentionality about arts and education that is privileged in a way in which it is not here.
Would you say is an intentionality around higher education in arts? Because I feel like a lot of people be like, oh, I wanted to be a rapper, I was a theater prefect, a P, and then I entered this, But what you're saying sounds like, what is the value of higher education in arts?
I can't speak to that because I never went to higher education in arts. I'm speaking in general about education and arts, right? It could be informal, it could be formal. I cut my teeth partly in those 4 years in the States because I could go to record stores. I was around other people who were just an investor, they had their NPC, etc. So I could be even in an environment that had access to certain things to go through that.
I think that's higher education to me too.
Of course, yeah, but what I was trying to, I guess, create a difference between the formal and the informal. But different environments have generally different attitudes towards it. I think because, I think of, these 3 C's. I think of commercial success, creative success, and cultural success. That is what most artists can achieve, right? Some people achieve all of them. But the one that most people privilege is commercial success, correct? But the truth is, creative success and cultural success is just as important, whether it's identity, whether it's, there are people who have created genres. How many of you people know Tony Allen? How many of you people know Fela Kuti? Of course you know Fela, but Tony Allen put the beat in Afrobeat. So maybe you should also know him. But he has such cultural success that it doesn't matter that I didn't see that many hands. And that is just as important, right? And I think we need to nurture environments that realizes that beyond entertainment or the commercial success of ROI of artists is that the arts can have such great value. So Tony Allen plays that role, Fela plays that role, this, that, and that. And it's an overall lack of value in terms of, or vacuum in terms of our attitude. So it seeps into academia too. So this is not an attack on the academia, or even though I should attack you, this would be a great opportunity when I have the mic. But it's just really, I think these attitudes have existed, and that's one of the things that's lacking. So back to your original question, which is who do I want to shout out? I mean, I definitely want to shout out a lot of the peers that I learned from, and that was part of. We had a peer learning system with music, I learned Pro Tools, I mixed and recorded my first 3 albums myself. I would call somebody, ask YouTube, I just come out at the time and then set stuff on YouTube, etc.
What years?
Hey man, don't start giving me those things. But it was in the 2000s for sure. So for me, that is a big part of my growth, is having a peer system, especially when I was outside of Ghana, that really gave me access to learning about my craft and about technology and about ways of doing it.
Okay, that's a great answer. And your answer, you also highlighted how professional success and what you do as an artist is also very important. Actually, it's the most privileged. And I'm thinking about the art students who wanted to be a rapper in high school. They came to maybe Legon, and afterwards he just had to enter into a job in banking. There were a lot of my friends who ended up going into banking or because they just couldn't go on. And then there were the artists who went on, but then as you mentioned, the structures are not there to support the stuff that they do. You came as Manifest, and I feel like there's a magic to Manifest too. But with the structures of artists in Ghana, they don't feel that supported. They can do all the work, but if the structure, the economy does not support what they do, they'll just end up just going to get a bank job, save to buy that house, and then pay for their wife and kids or their family or whatever. So I want us to delve into what does the creative industry and supportive structures look for building a successful creative industry. What are the change? What is the change, outside the artists?
Well, I want to answer it in a less technical way, right? So I'll give some specifics, but less technical. I don't want to be like, the technical way would be to say, yeah, we need every region, we need venues that artists can tour, or we need labels that have money to invest in artists, blah, blah. Those are kind of, I say technical because it's, they are obvious in terms of that's the blueprint everywhere. But to think about it maybe in a larger way about how to create an ecosystem that enables and encourages people and then also allows them to thrive, not just those at the top. Currently, the class system in our creative arts is that the reason why people become bankers is that it's only those who reach a certain tier that can actually make a living from this successfully, just solely. Most, I'm just throwing out a percentage, don't hold me to it, hyperbole. 90% of the people in the creative field in Ghana probably have to have another hustle to be able to make a living. It's only those that manage to reach a certain zenith of popularity are able to do ambassadorial deals, talk about, etc. The average working class artist in Ghana cannot survive on art alone, and that is quite tragic. But that can be changed. So we have to start looking at it from the perspective. More often than not, we are very much looking at it from the perspective of those at the top. When we talk about years to the world, we are thinking about all the artists we know for them to go further. We're not thinking about actually the majority of artists for them to actually also get to the point of being able to thrive and be artists and make contributions that will even potentially aid those on the top tier. So that is for me is a missing part of the conversation. And so when we start thinking of what do we need for the thing to thrive, I'm not thinking of what we need for anyway, all of that to say, they took, I think it was described as an entrepreneurial state approach to the arts. To the point that last year, guess how much the Korean government, not just the private people, just the Korean government, just guess how much they spent on the arts. Just the government, too, not the private entity. Oh, throw some numbers around. Dollars, don't see this. Come on. What? 30 million? 100 million?
5 billion.
5 million?
5 billion.
Okay, $3.7 billion. Let us sink it, that's why I'm quiet. And we have not even started talking about probably because the amount of private interest in this. This has probably nothing to do with BTS and Squid Game and all those commercially successful things, right? But all that to say, if you go into the rabbit hole like I did about the so-called K-wave, you realize that it didn't happen by accident. There was a lot of intention, there was a lot of institution building, there was a lot of private sector contribution, and there was a lot of state contribution to make that happen. And then now we are here with Parasite, Squid Game, and all these things. And we are so fortunate as Africans and generally black people, that we have some of these most divine things when it comes to our creativity. We can create out of very little and then our things go global, etc. despite the lack of support. So imagine if we had even maybe a tenth of some of this intentionality thinking and whatever to help propel this forward. So I am not expecting that we are going to follow even the example of other people who to be fair, a lot of their stuff is even mimicking other people's stuff, right? We are actually creating and innovating, right? There has been no, okay, but I know Ghana will do a few things with what I say here, so I have to worry myself. But somebody would have to tell me how institutionally or private sector-wise, in the last 10 years, something as that powerful that transformed the art scene in Ghana, right? This person has this person has that. That's wild. We that we are just supposed to be artists, create, cross our legs, and drink somewhere. It's not happening. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. The hard work putting it in, but there needs to be a thinking of how to support this beyond. And the reason I'm not getting into the technical, I'm getting to the overall thinking is that there's many ways to do this. They can spend a year on committee to figure a lot of these things out. So I'm not going to come here and do prescription. I have ideas. I can be like, oh, why don't we already have a highlight museum? Or why don't we have something in place that every year to the top 5 most bubbling artists, give them access to some funds that maybe can be paid back when they get bigger, so that they're not worried about how to shoot a music video, how to tour and go and promote it. I can give you a bunch of ideas I've got already, but it's not that. I think we have to, in general, on the macro level, identify the problem as we are doing this conversation, and think of what is lacking, and then fill in the gaps.
Okay. This is a great, exposition you just laid out, and I just want to bring that reflection from, and it's a great thing you share about what is happening in Korea. And honestly, I don't lie to you. In why there was this producer who brought it to a show and covering K-pop, and I thought, what is K-pop? Like, what do you mean? Like, and now that actually is a big show in YFM.
Well, I mean, just to clarify, before they go and say my manifest is praising people, I'm not a fan of a lot of that stuff. It's just that I recognize how things work in the world, and when I see things, I'm curious enough to try and investigate a little bit. And in this case, having to have this conversation, and the random conversation with my cousin helped me get into a rabbit hole about, this is interesting.
I mean, exactly with that. So she is the offspring of the popularity that has been raised around, K-pop. And in the 60s, 70s, 80s, someone can argue that highlight was Ghana's export to the world. I'm not sure about the questions that you asked, which I think are very relevant questions to think about. What was the intentionality? What was the macro intentionality around that, And the mirroring of 60s, 70s, 80s highlight to today, 2021, 2022, 2023, where now Afrobeats is the big West African genre in the world. There's like this door that's been opened, and also with the government's Your Return, Beyond the Return initiatives, there's been a lot of that talk. What happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s seems like it's opening up again in this time. There's a mirroring. The NBA halftime show, the Breakfast Club, the Grammys. There's a lot of talk with Afrobeats there now. Do you feel that there's that intentionality you mentioned and cohesion in this movement, or this is just individuals doing what they can in a system that's, that doesn't really care?
Yeah. No, it's a great amount of it has been individuals or clusters of people, that make strides, that open doors for other people. But what is happening organically because of individual ambition is that we are finding people at different parts of the supply chain and different parts of the ecosystem. So if you look at record execs, you actually have some African or African heritage people. When you look at the touring infrastructure, when I went touring, when Bernard goes touring, when King Promise goes touring, the same guy do concerts. That's our thing. He's Nigerian in America. when you look at, so we, when you look at Mavens or Olamide YBNL, I think it's brilliant. Like, look at how many superstars have been created from YBNL. That is through somebody's vision and getting together other people. I don't know his business, but from a distance, whether investors, etc. Imagine if that was replicated and they were not isolated incidents. So what is happening is that, yes, there is some cohesion happening, but it's happening because there's a lot of individual ambition, driving the fact that the world is just changing in a way in which I would not be surprised if right now, like, I don't know, whatever biggest station in the US might be trying to poach you from the station here because the cultural shift is favoring us and you are in the center of it. So you getting the opportunity, yes, you'll be able to, it's not told enough. And when we're talking about this new thing about Afrobeats and maybe the Ghanaian significance, you cannot forget people like Hughes. Because I think he basically told me that, the first charting of this modern era Afrobeat songs were D'Banjos, were Twist and his antenna. You understand? Now that opens doors because it creates a commercial viability in the label's minds and all these other things. But that's individual success, but other people can capitalize on it. So a lot of it is happening through a lot of toil, sweat, and people building up on other people's things. Somebody, Afrobeats popping is as much as it being a catch-all phrase, it's tough that it's a catch-all phrase for all popular music coming out of West Africa. It popping has even enabled people like me who primarily are not Afrobeats artists, even though we might make some songs inspired from that, because the world has a palate. The world has an appetite, and this palate has refined for our music. We are culturally, literally going to the top of the totem pole in terms of one of the most attractive cultures in the world right now, musically, and in the fine arts too. And that has been done by a couple of, I guess maybe from the late 90s to now, it's been built, but certain significant shifts have been done culturally and commercially by different people, individuals, and that has to be acknowledged. But I want amplification and a multiplication and a replication of this in a way in which it can go on beyond on another level. But then you're going to start having other conversations, which is difficult. The fact that, how many people are in Ghana? 30 whatever million. How many are we now? Can somebody help me? I've lost count. Is it 33 or 2? Wow, you people don't know. When I used to be in school, I used to know these things from the tip of my whatever tongue. Okay, Google is your friend. Can somebody tell me? 33, okay. My first guess is right. About how many of those, imagine we have a data issue and stuff. If I could even get half of those people on streaming platforms, I might not even leave the world. That streaming thing will be killing for us, etc. We have and that's already an infrastructure problem because data is expensive and when people don't make that much money, so there are so many conversations we are fighting against already that if there is no intentionality about support and building institutions and support for the arts, while still fighting these regular bread and butter and other issues, then the arts and the arts ecosystem is constantly in an uphill battle, and we are making strides, but those strides are not multiplied and amplified enough.
I hear that 100%. I hear that 100%. Because in spite of what the artist does, I've seen the importance of what the artist fans, of what the country that the artist is coming from, and how they are also pushing the artist away from the system and looking for it. But for me, it's been a little bit of a pain, to see the Afrobeats genre is big, but I don't like how it erases all the other stuff that does exist with the genre of music that comes from this part. But before, I want us to jump into a little break. And before I jump into that break, it's a music break from you. I wanted you to know, there's a line you said in that song I want us to listen to, which is Driving in a Storm, How I Feel See Ahead. Charlie, the Ghana today, how we feel see ahead.
Exactly. I think this is how I feel.
In fact, to be honest with you, some of us, we came here to even come in and solicit you so that we take you to Sunyani. Yes, because we have tried to also assemble students, in fact, those who have the flair, the passion for creative arts, who can sing, who have started writing their own songs.
Is it working now?
I beg you, please shorten it for me. Let's wrap up with the question.
And so, please, we want those of you already in the creative art industry to partner with the institutions so that if possibly there can be a proposal or an MOU so that from time to time, this time around, it's not just only about talking to us as a symposium like this, but you will take part of it as stakeholders where you will nurture students with talents. And in fact, we really need you so that at the end of the day, since now about 70% of these graduates who studied chemistry and physics are now going into the field to have their own job, then it means that if they should focus on their field of talent, then it will serve them and then the country as a large would also make a mark for our country. So this is my recommendation. So after, I would like to see you personally.
Thank you. Okay, so then we'll say your one answer that one. Please, can I have the man in the striped shirt behind you? And then the last person was right, also striped, right here. So let's do here, then hey, actually, him, then here. Actually, you were supposed to be a woman. No? I said the woman will be the last. Oh, no. Do you identify as a woman? Don't joke with it, though. Gender is a very serious issue. So if you don't identify as a woman, manifest is here after we can have a baby. So we'll have you at the black shirt as the last. Let's go.
Okay. My name is John Kabuto, a level 400 student from the Department of Psychology. I'd like to ask, actually my questions are two.
No, it has to be one.
The first one, I'll keep it short and simple.
One. So pick the important one.
Alright. I would like to know, like, what keeps you going in terms of consistency? Because we started with many artists and they have what departed. They are gone. You don't see them or hear them what anymore. But for you keep on what going. So I'm also a bit, into rapping and all of that. Okay, Krista.
What's your rapping? You know.
Okay. I'm called scientist.
Sir.
Okay, T. Madam, you can't come. Maybe I'm here, but I just like our neck and nephew just by Munawa. Or come for the Naso Tia Alawa. So, me and you like a Munawa. I've been walking to the Divasha and Kawa.
Give it up for the scientists.
Yes, I'm a guy, please. So my name is Elomiki LKD. I did engineering and I'm currently at the School of Communication Studies doing communication studies masters. My question: you mentioned the 3 C's of success in of an artist: commercial, cultural, and creative. Could you please elaborate on the creative? Because my understanding was that maybe there's a limit of creativity called success, and maybe there's a cap to creativity. So yeah, please elaborate on that.
You know, I haven't fully fleshed the concept. I might have just come up with it, but let me just tell you what I meant, which is creative success for me is being able to innovate on a level, right? And being able to, like, the peak of creative success is being like creating a new genre. I think Afro beats, not beats, that is creative success, like creating a new genre. And I think that's why I mentioned Tony Allen in respect to what I mentioned about. But that for me is the height of that, innovating. And not everybody who has creative success benefits from it, because other people steal the style and make more money. The creators and innovators are not always of the success, but sometimes the market is, right? So that's why I think that creative success. you are there as an artist, you put in all your many hours, you're coming out with this, then one day you stumble upon this crazy flow, like the Migos flow, like the triple, these things that create success, as far as I'm concerned. And there are some artists who are really good at that. And it doesn't mean it will always translate into even a cultural moment for them, because somebody else might have that cultural moment, right? So Bradford Painuka has a cultural moment, like he has cultural success. He changed the landscape here. Creative success is like that part. But but I want to even speak. I want to use an example of someone who maybe has, I'll say Akan, right? He puts together projects that I feel like he has some creative success because he has a good idea that he cracks a certain code to put together an album. Could you do for my brothers? I'm like, that's creative success, and that is an important thing to achieve. I would love for everybody who innovates and gets to that zone of creativity to have commercial and cultural success, but unfortunately, that's not how it always happens.
Yeah, one more thing. I'm also a poet. And
You're also a poet.
I'm putting myself out there.
Okay, so, yeah. Well, thank you. And you're also a poet who does engineering or what? What? Okay, cool. What keeps me going is consistency. I've said this thing quite a lot of times, and I'm going to change my tune a little bit. I always tell people about how this lofty thing about purpose driven, etc., and that's why that is true to a certain